Hiya, Georgie. What a nice boat.
It became a cultural phenomenon when it hit theaters in 2017. It reinvigorated Hollywood's interest in Stephen King's work and naturally paved the way for a sequel, 2019's It Chapter 2. It also created a very unlikely $1 billion franchise in the process, cementing itself in the box office history books.
Tasty, tasty, beautiful fear.
What viewers not familiar with King's work may not have noticed is that the author himself actually has a pretty hefty cameo in It Chapter 2. This is not merely a blink and you'll miss it moment like some of Stan Lee's cameos in the Marvel films. This is a full-blown scene that allows King to choose some scenery and take a victory lap. But there's more going on here than meets the eye. The scene takes place well into It Chapter 2, with the reunited adult members of the Losers Club attempting to perform the ritual of Chud so that they can vanquish Pennywise for good. This involves each member of the group finding a totem, which is an important item from their childhood that contains some significance. Bill comes across his trusty old bike in a secondhand shop's window. When he walks inside, clearly stricken with good memories, he then asks the shopkeeper about the bike, and the man who runs the shop is none other than Stephen King. The shop owner recognizes Bill, who is now a famous horror writer, and they proceed to bargain over the price after he takes a pot shot at Bill's inability to write good endings.
You, want me to sign it for you?
Nah, I didn't like the ending.
It's a humorous scene that helps to add some levity before the film's final act, but it's also a pretty big showcase for King, as he gets to chew the scenery a bit in a blockbuster sequel based on one of his most famous books. It's a nice tribute to the man who made this all possible, but there's a little more to it than that. King is one of the most successful and prolific authors of all time, and for decades now, he has churned out hit after hit, classic after classic. To say that his track record is impressive would be an understatement. Yet his run in Hollywood has been a huge mixed bag. Many of the movies based on his works were modestly successful at best. Even the most successful of his adaptations, The Shining, diverted heavily from the source material and was a pretty big disappointment for King personally. So when It hit theaters in 2017 and was met with critical praise on its way to a record-shattering $700 million at the box office, it was pretty momentous. And this movie had the added benefit of King's approval. He has gone on record saying that he was a fan of what director Andy Muschietti did. And this role serves as a big victory for a man who has had such influence over pop culture for so many years. It would have been very easy to just have King walk by in the background or have him deliver a quick line. The fact that he gets to have a fun, reasonably lengthy scene that has influence over the film's outcome is a big tip of the cap to the man who created this beloved story. It was the right thing to do, and the movie is all the better for it.
I am now in my mind writing my Oscar acceptance speech.
However, there is another crucial wink and nod going on in this cameo. As many readers of King's work have noted over the years, his endings often don't live up to the book itself. Sometimes they just fall flat. In other cases, they just go completely off the rails. It is a perfectly fine example, with the whole gargantuan book culminating with a giant alien spider that is defeated by having its heart destroyed. There is also the matter of straight up blowing up the Overlook Hotel at the end of The Shining, which is wildly different from what Kubrick did in his movie adaptation. Taking that into account, the fact that this meaty cameo sees King playing a character who is criticizing an author's work, in particular his endings, is pretty meta. It adds even further meaning to King's participation on screen in the film, and serves as an acknowledgement from the author to his critics. King took to Twitter in 2019 and addressed the sentiment head-on without mincing words. Of course, for years, some people have told me I don't know how to end a story. I call on that, but everyone has an opinion. Looking at that tweet, the scene becomes even more magnified in the larger context of any conversation that can be had about King's work. The man clearly doesn't feel that the criticisms of his work are all that valid, which makes this scene pretty tongue-in-cheek. King knows this is an ongoing thing, and he chooses not to let it affect his work. Nonetheless, he's more than happy to acknowledge it for the sake of cinema.